Welcome to In the Trenches, where entrepreneurs, artists, writers, designers, inventors, warriors, and leaders share their stories of doing the hard, creative work that impacts all of our lives. Let the journey inspire you to do something worthwhile, build something bold, and create your life's work. And now, your host, Tom Morkis.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another broadcast of In the Trenches. I'm very excited to have Anthony Tran on the call with us today. He's the founder of AccessWP.com, which is an unlimited WordPress support service by US-based developers for only $99 per month. And he's also the co-founder of MarketingAccessPass.com, which is a custom WordPress website design agency for small business owners. And he's been featured in Entrepreneur, Huffington Post. He actually spoke at Podcast Movement, if you're familiar with that, a big podcast in-person event summit. And he's done a lot of other great work. But today we're going to be talking about AccessWP, how he's building this business, because I think my understanding is it's pretty new. He's kind of just getting it off the ground right now. So I think this will be kind of a fun look at how do you build a service-based company from scratch and some of the challenges and then some of the things that have worked for him. So Anthony, thank you so much for being on the call with us today.
Hey Tom, thanks for having me, man.
Awesome. So AccessWP, as I described, it's unlimited WordPress support. So if somebody has a WordPress website, this provides the kind of the service support for them. So if there's things broken or, hey, I need to make this page like, I don't know, HTTPS or whatever. Tell me a little bit about what the actual service is, like what I'm buying, because that'll give us context into some of the questions I'll ask as we go forward.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're right. I mean, a lot of people have WordPress websites and they kind of get stuck on the technical aspects of either building it or maintaining it. And we can support them with both. So when we say unlimited WordPress support, I mean, we identify as any small task under 30 minutes, but keep in mind that all of our developers are senior-based WordPress experts, and they're all US-based. And so things that may take us only 30 minutes or around 30 to 45 minutes to do, it could take the average person, a couple hours, maybe even days. I've had people reach out to us and say, wow, you fixed our problem, and I've been trying to figure this out for, the past couple of weeks, trying to dig into YouTube, Google, read through forums, blah, blah, blah. So I think that's where people should keep in mind that, as an expert on this type of stuff, we troubleshoot and, find a solution pretty quickly. But, part of the maintenance package is, in order to maintain your website, you have to update WordPress, you have to update plugins. We offer backups, daily backups of your website. We offer security, malware scans, email support. There's just a ton of things that go into it, but I don't want to rattle too much. But basically, it's an all-in-one resource for you, and it's a lot cheaper than hiring your own dedicated WordPress developer for your team.
Yep, I like it. So I have a buddy who ran something like this, but different context. You might be aware of him, Dan Norris, WPcurve. And I'm bringing that up because he sold the business. He doesn't work in it anymore. I think it was acquired by GoDaddy. And to some degree, it was like a similar value proposition. The difference, I'm looking at this and saying, well, the difference is he kind of used like Geo Arbitrage, if you will, developers from like the Philippines and Southeast Asia and stuff like that. And it seems like one of the value propositions you're offering here is like, US based or like, high-end developers. So it's like, in that regard, it's like, they're both WordPress support, but what exactly am I getting a certain amount of value more from, say, a US based developer? Like, can you speak to that at all? Is that a question or a challenge that comes up at all when you kind of like are kind of getting this company out there and having conversations with potential customers and clients?
Yeah, I actually do know Dan, very familiar with his business and business model. And yeah, business got purchased from GoDaddy. And I noticed I was online and, I already had a WordPress website design agency. And so naturally friends and influencers would reach out to me, hey, I need help with WordPress. Do you know anyone who could help us with it? So there was definitely a gap in the market because when WP got purchased by GoDaddy, there was people looking for this type of service and help. But another kind of, I guess, concern that some people provide is like, well, I want to outsource my work, but I don't want to send it to people overseas. Now, there's nothing wrong with people working overseas, but there's some people have concerns about, giving their username and passwords. They're not sure who is technically working on it. And so I think it's more of like an ease of mind, and it's also a communication thing. Sometimes through email channels, they don't know if the person is understanding them correctly, and sometimes they want to be able to jump on a phone call with somebody. So I think that's the biggest differentiator for us is that we're all US-based developers. You can talk to someone on the phone if you have to, and people, like I said, sometimes just feel comfortable sending their personal information to someone that's stateside.
Yep, and I see that, and I definitely know people who that would be just absolutely appealing to. A lot of people I know who, especially if you're not technically savvy, I think the idea of like trying to be able to explain something online, maybe, and not being able to hop on a call is actually like a real challenge for people that I've run into. It's incredible. Like, so I definitely see that. I see the value proposition there. So I'm curious though, like, so I on a service like this, offering it at $99 a month, like how do you stay profitable so that you can actually grow? Like, because it seems like it's almost like, too cheap to offer that at that level. Does that make sense? So I'm just curious, like, how are you guys able to like structure this so that you actually have the ability to grow and this platform takes off?
Well, with WordPress support, I mean, we offer unlimited, and it's kind of I like to consider it almost like the insurance model. People they know they need it. They like it when they have it. And sometimes it's also great for emergency support, but they might not use it all the time. So, for us, sometimes we have people who, love our service, and they use it to its max capacity and are sending multiple support requests throughout the day, every day. But then sometimes people sign up and then they just, they want to set it and forget it type of deal because, I didn't talk about this, but our $149 plan, offers the daily backups, automatic WordPress core support, the automatic plugin updates, security scans, all the stuff that's required to maintain the website. And they may not have a support task for, a couple weeks, even a month or so, because all the other stuff is being maintained on the back end. So I think it just balances out. The support tickets balance out. We're able to take care of it. Like I said, our guys are experts. They do this, all the time. So they're able to troubleshoot and resolve problems very quickly. So we are doing well. And, we've even hired another WordPress developer because the growth of the business. So we're definitely keeping up with the demand.
That's awesome. So yeah, the way you guys price right now, you have kind of three tiers. Starts at $99, and then you have your VIP at $199. When you typically get a new customer, like how often are people choosing like the standard plan versus like your premium plan, which is $149, versus your VIP plan? If you can share those numbers, because I'm just curious, like what do you find that people are most attracted to? Is it the basic offer, or is it that maintenance thing? So I don't have to worry about plugins. I don't have to worry about, all this kind of stuff that I probably should be taking care of. But if I don't do it, probably no one's going to do it. So I might as well just pay an extra $50 a month for it. Like, where are you seeing that breakdown? Where are you seeing the most demand?
I don't know the exact numbers, but I would say it's roughly about 60% would do the premium, and then, 30% do the standard, and like 10% do the VIP. So the premium is our most popular plan. Like I said, we have a lot of small business owners that like our service because even though 149, some people are, if they're startup, bootstrap, like, oh man, the 149 is a lot. But the small business owners who run a business and their time is money, 149 is a no-brainer for them because it's like, what's their time worth? And then to know that somebody's, maintaining their website is peace of mind. And like I said, if you were to hire, like say a full-time VA, even in the overseas, full-time VA overseas is like $500 a month minimum. And to hire someone who's like a technical support VA, you're looking at $700, $800 a month. So, for us, you get a team of developers for a fraction of the cost. So it's a win-win. We wanted to make sure there was a value proposition that was affordable for the business owner. It was, provide super value, but it was also profitable for us so that we can continue to maintain and grow this business.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So what have been like the biggest struggles for you? So, okay, so this is like, it's service as a service, right? I don't know if there's a better way to describe it, but but tell me if there is. I mean, what are the challenges you run into trying to build a company like this that you've run into in terms of like, yeah, these have been like some really big hurdles. And then if you have any insights into like things that you guys did to kind of get through that hurdle, get over it or break through it or whatever it was.
So let me kind of just share with you how it started, and then I'll kind of run through some hurdles.
Perfect.
I think it's timeline-wise, it kind of helps me conceptualize. So, for us, like I said, we already knew that there was other types of business that were doing this. So it was a true validation in the market that there's a need for it in the marketplace. And just like anything, you find your differentiator, something that makes you a little bit unique than the other person. I always like to say, what's the difference when someone like has a hamburger fast food place, and there's like McDonald's and In-N-Out and all these places. And it's like, well, what's going to make you different than the other person? Well, if you open up a stand, you might have a secret sauce. You might have an extra price point. Yours might be, fresh ingredients, whatever. So sometimes I think startups and entrepreneurs, they always think that they have to invent this brand new, amazing idea that nobody's ever thought of. No, you could always start with something that's already in the market. You just make it slightly better and different. So we were able to put this out in the marketplace within a couple of days. I put it out there on Facebook and just reached out to some friends and said, hey, would you guys be interested in this? If you are, let's jump on a call. And this is before I created a website. This is before I wrote any copy. This is before I did any email marketing. This is before I did any marketing and promotion. It was just purely like I just wanted to, touch base with, some warm market. And I was already selling out of the gate. So that was pretty amazing. So I knew from validation from other companies that were already doing it, and I also validated from people within my own circle that people wanted this. And so the next step for me was to build the brand and build the website. So we designed the website, we built it out, we built the copy. And then I would say a little bit of the challenge when I first started was just the process of intake, like just trying to make it a smooth process. So, I was learning through my beta customers, like what type of common questions did they have? What were the common onboarding sequence that they have? And so I built my processes and systems based off of my beta customers and kind of figuring what was like I said, the normal process of people coming through. So using that, we built out like frequently asked questions, build out, email scripts, commonly asked question type stuff. And then, now it's just like, we already have like a $3,000 monthly recurring revenue. And now it's just all about scale and growth and promotion and marketing. So I think for us, the challenge is to balance growth with consistent quality and customer service. Like that's our big thing. Like I'm really big on making sure that every customer has a great experience and that stays with us on long term. I'm not like focused on like growing it too fast where we grow too fast and then it kind of implodes, Like I want to make sure that we grow steady, consistent, and we provide quality service because we know that long term people will stay and they will refer more customers to us.
That's awesome. So what are you finding as some of your best growth channels right now? Like what's working for you guys?
Facebook has been very huge. And
as in like paid Facebook marketing or specific uses of how you're using that social platform?
Affiliates. We have a lot of people who have been affiliates who've shared and promoted our stuff. People have shared our service in Facebook groups. I've already grown a community of people who are familiar with Marketing Access Pass, which was the custom WordPress website design agency. So people already knew us that we were, the go-to people when it came to WordPress. Some people couldn't afford the big, custom design, or they're just not ready for that in their business yet. Sometimes they just had smaller tasks that they needed assistance with. So when people found out that we were offering the service, it was a natural progression for them. And then we had some existing base customers that we've already previously designed websites for that we touched base with and said, hey, how's your website? We designed it a year or two ago. Do you need any help maintaining it? And so reaching back to existing old clients also was a place where we accrued some customers.
That's cool. Do you have like a vision of where you want to take it? Like, I don't know if you're familiar with like The E-Myth by Michael Gerber. It's a book I read a while ago, but it was like on my brain like a few months back. And this idea of like kind of you should be building businesses to sell them. There has to be some sort of like liquidity event, whether it's IPO or whatever. So I'm just curious, like with something like this, was that part of your mindset was like, I'm going to build this, grow this, and these could be some acquisition partners, or is, hey, obviously, or is it more, I want to build this, I want to grow this. This is like going to be my baby, and I'm not even really thinking about an exit. I'm just curious if you have any thoughts on that.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned eMyth because that was one of the books that really inspired me to, create systems, build, I guess, frameworks for people you can duplicate and you can hire and you can outsource. Originally, I started off as a freelancer and did everything myself, and then I brought in my wife, and it was just the two of us. But as we continue to grow, we met challenges of like, man, we kind of hit a ceiling, like we can only take on so much. So reading the eMyth taught us that like, you need to not be the worker bee, you need to be the CEO, and you need to kind of look at things from a high level and have people work as part of your team and build systems and process so your team can, replicate or do the work for you. And so now we have a design team, we have WordPress developers. And so I've really taken on that mentality of the CEO vision and just, looking at things from a high level. And Access WP, definitely, we're excited. It's even though our Access WP has launched a couple of months, our WordPress development team have been doing this for years and have done over 24,000 tickets. So it's not like they're new to the game. But for us, my goal right now is to build it to $1 million business with, monthly recurring revenue of $100,000 a month. And then we'll see where it goes from there. I know that you mentioned Dan. Dan took had an exit strategy. I don't know if that was originally part of his plan, but maybe it was an offer he couldn't refuse. And so, I think we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But it's exciting. We know that we want to help people. We know that it's a need in the market, and I think it's a great value for small business owners.
That's awesome. And how big is actually, I don't know if you shared this already, how big is the organization right now? Because you're probably doing a lot of, I'm guessing the support staff, these are probably contracted out and all that, but like what's your core team composed of? Is it just you, or are you, are you partners with anyone, or how have you structured that?
Yeah, so we have 6 WordPress US-based developers on the team, and then there's also myself and my wife. My wife helps with the design agency, and we also have a team of WordPress designers who are part of the Marketing Access Pass team. So we have about 16 designers on that team. So it's a good team. We have a lot of people that can support with the growth, and like I said, as we grow, we continue to hire more people.
Got it. Very cool. So, okay. So moving forward, what are your thoughts on additional revenue opportunities? Are you very focused these are the 3 offers, we're not going to try to branch out into anything else? I'm curious about your level of focus on this and how you're approaching that, because obviously there can probably come a time where you see maybe many other things that could be spun off for something like this, right? Especially if you build the customer base. So, what's your thoughts on focus and where you put your time and energy, and whether that manifests in spin-off products, or you just or offers, or if you're just going to focus right now on just that core offer?
Well, Access WP is pretty focused. It's a productized service business model. I don't know if you guys have heard that terminology before, but it's basically, you focus on a very specific core offering, and it allows you to build systems and keep things consistent. But with Marketing Access Pass, there have been, I guess, product spin-offs. At first we just did website designs, and now we're starting to do landing pages. We've done virtual summits. We've done membership sites. We've done, webinar funnels, a lot of the things. So the Marketing Access Pass business is more fluid. I take on different types. It's all kind of the same. They're all kind of interrelated as far as high converting website pages, and, they're just kind of different types of business models, as virtual summits versus a website, a little bit different, but they're all pretty related. So in that business, things are very fluid, but with Access WP, we're definitely very defined with our core services, and we've already, vetted it out as far as what people need and what people don't. So we feel that the 3 packages we offer are very competitive and very good.
How are you managing your time between kind of running multiple businesses? How do you do that? I know it's a difficult question even to answer, but what does that look like for you to manage and grow these 2 businesses at the same time?
Well, I think because they're complementary, they work well, because people who need custom website designs, eventually we'll need WordPress support. So, we might lead with the design business first, and then as the project is completed, we hand it over and say, hey, would you like WordPress support? Because we offer that. So they're sister companies and they support each other. And then Access WP, some people just need the initial help, but eventually through clients who stay on board with us, who feel comfortable with working with us, will eventually want to upgrade and to design, get a custom website design. And so Marketing Access Pass is there to support them. So even though they're two businesses, they are very complementary and they support each other. And to me, I spend all day talking about WordPress, whether it's design or development. And so it's a very natural progression for me. It's not like I'm working on two very different businesses. And then it also, like I said, helps when you have a team of developers and designers that can do the work, and then I can just focus on the strategy and the marketing and just the long-term vision of the business.
When it comes to operations, so this is always, I find this fascinating when it comes to productized services or service as a service, or how you want to define it, and not that software is like less complex. I'm sure it's, who knows, maybe more complex in certain circumstances, but the idea of like managing multiple people or making sure that you get a support ticket in, it gets executed, that the system's built in a way that can scale, right? That can take on, hundreds of clients or hundreds of customers, thousands, right? How did you build out that core system that is now kind of what you're built on right now, like the systems and processes internally that you guys use, and in such a way that you can actually like grow and scale from there? Like, I'm curious kind of about the process you went through to do that.
Well, the biggest thing is finding the right people. I partner with expert developers who, like I said, were already doing this for many years, and they've already created their internal processes as a team. It was kind of like a great match, because we connected and they said, hey, you know what, we love doing the troubleshooting, the development work, all the WordPress issue task, but we're not really great with the marketing promotion side of the business. And then I said, oh, great. Well, I need a team to do the support task and I can help focus on the marketing promotion and overseeing the business. So, let's partner and make this work. So for me, I guess it's a little bit different, because I didn't build a team where I had to train them on the whole full system. It was like they already had a system in place, but they needed a partner that could help, increase the customer base and then continue to do customer service and marketing promotion and stuff like that. So it was good. Yeah, it was a good match. Sometimes you don't have to build a new system. A lot of times, I know Dan talks about, I know a lot of other people talk about, is finding good partners and helping the businesses is always good.
No, that's interesting. And that's why I'm super curious about it, because I think that's what a challenge on the operation side of things, to make sure that that's like situated and that you can actually grow it and scale it. I remember even talking to Dan about how they, a big part of that was like, to some degree, I guess, constantly improving the systems as they go. But I find the task of building out that first framework to use as really challenging. But I like it. I'm big on collaboration, so I like the fact that you were able to essentially just kind of team up the right way and find where you were very well suited to excel in this one area and not mess with the operations side of things so much, which is pretty interesting. I don't know if you have any follow-on thoughts on that.
No, it's like you rely on your strengths. You know what you're good at. I do troubleshoot. I can help support, but I know that if I, kind of like we talked about in the E-Myth book, I know if we want to grow, I can't be working in the business. I need to be working on the business. So it's a mind shift for an entrepreneur. But I've noticed that ever since I've taken on that new mind shift, things have grown exponentially, and the ability to scale has just been amazing. When you can, I was being interviewed by Pat Flynn and Chris Tucker a couple of years ago, and I was telling them the issues that I was having. And the issue at the time was scaling. Like, I couldn't scale the web design business because I was a freelancer. I was doing all the work. Me and my wife were doing all the work. And they said, you know what, you need to, Chris Tucker said, you need to get over yourself and stop the Superman syndrome. And Pat's like, you need to, there's people out there that can, despite what you think, because he's like, I like to do everything myself too, but despite what you think, there's people out there that can do it better and faster than you. And that was one thing that really stuck during that feedback coaching session. And I was like, wow, like you're right. And I'm a true believer now, like the design team, they're amazing. They put out awesome work that I couldn't put together before. The support team's amazing, even though I know WordPress, but their level of expertise is, even higher than what I, have, because they have a team of, developers that have been doing this for, 20 plus years. So you got to trust in people who can do the job. And then when you do and you can let go, it's an amazing thing.
I love it. So, Anthony, where can people reach out and find you, learn more about what you're doing, check out, obviously get access to Access WP and everything else?
Cool. Yeah. I mean, you guys can check me out, accesswp.com or marketingaccesspass.com, and you just can email me. Just put an Anthony in front of that. So Anthony@accesswp.com or Anthony@marketingaccesspass.com, and I'll be happy to connect.
Fantastic, man. Thank you so much for being on In the Trenches.
Cool. Thanks so much, Tom.
Thank you for listening to In the Trenches. Your creative work doesn't stop here. Join the resistance, the small but growing army of entrepreneurs and artists putting a dent in the world at www.tommorkis.com. Never fight alone. Join the resistance.